You're watching Cable 2.
Good evening and welcome to the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools Board of Education meeting for November the 9th, 2021. We're going to officially call our meeting back to order. Yes, so we need to go to the Pledge of Allegiance and we'll do our invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. We thank you so much for the time that you have given us, and also for our students being able to be back in school and being able to get on a sub-normal schedule. We ask you also to think about us on Friday and to think about being kind to each other, and being helpful to each other. Bless all our children while they're out, and also our teachers and our staff. We ask in your name, amen.
The next item on our agenda is the agenda review. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
If there are no further question or discussion, let it be known by aye for general consensus. Aye. Motion passes to approve the agenda. The next item on our agenda is public comments on agenda items. Oh, okay, we don't have any public comments tonight. Man, shoot. Last chance, Mr. Allen. Going. That's all it. Okay, thank you for amusing us with that. The next item is the superintendent's update.
Thank you. I think this meeting came faster than usual, so it's a very light one now that we're doing 2 a month. So it's kind of a light agenda this evening, but there'll be more next week. So we have 2 back to back. So thank you, everyone. So really quickly, wanted to give a quick update. First of all, Kevin, go ahead and turn for me. So as you all know, we have started our celebration of kindness, community, and connection during this time of Thanksgiving. And so as we know, this Friday, we are all working, doing kindness and wellness activities to make sure that we are really prepared and ready for our students. And we're asking staff to do that, but also for our students as well, to be engaged in kindness and wellness. I think at this time, and based on all the feedback we've received, it's something that is needed for our staff and our students, and we're going to all use it very wisely. And so the next slide shows the child care. We right now have close to 500 children that have signed up for child care. What I am so excited about, I want to highlight, is that we had an idea, and within 1 week, all of these people said they would chip in, open, and our district team put, I'm going to show you in 1 minute, all these activities together for families and ideas. I'm so excited about what Friday will be like for everyone. But look at, these are all the sites that are open. It shows how many kids they can service. And so far we have 500 kids across all these different sites only. So we still have room. So parents that may not know about it, if they're watching this, or if they read about it, or we can, if they're working or they want to have their children go somewhere and participate in exciting events on Friday, these are the places that are open. All right, next I'm going to have Kevin go really quickly. I want to show you one other page on our website, or one other area. Scroll back up a little bit, Kevin. Let's see. There it is. Up. Yep. So this, on our website, this is also available to all of our families, all of our staff, everyone. And it basically gives ideas. Go ahead and scroll to get to that area. I wanted to make sure that everyone saw this in case you haven't had a chance to see it. So we've got in these four, behind these four pictures, we've got acts of kindness, like ideas. So Kevin, just click on that real quick. I want to give a quick preview of this. And thank you to our communications team for compiling all of this. You can see that it just shows things that you can do do kindness to strangers, to veterans or the elderly. Freestyle means for yourself, your family, to Mother Earth, or even just giving to a nonprofit. The social emotional learning activities, thank you to our student services team and Latrell for putting these together. It's a bunch of different activities that are around wellness and around social emotional health. And then we've got physical activities, thanks to instructional services and Karen Garman for providing these activities. But if you go down, there's videos of things you can do for wellness. It's all right there. So parents that, you know, we really want people to take this seriously and use this day for wellness and kindness. And by the way, wellness is being kind to yourself. And then last but not least, and I already showed you that, but it's the child care. So again, thank you everyone who got very quickly this together so that our staff and students could rejuvenate to come back strong for that week before Thanksgiving and really just give it our all that week. Magnet and Choice Community Engagement, very important. Last Saturday, it was a successful event, so thank you to Dr. Roseborough and HomeOn and all of our principals and school teams who were at the education building at the fairgrounds to answer questions about all of our programs for families. It was amazing, and lots of staff were there. So all throughout November through December 21st, November 29th through December 21st, our team will be out in the community at YMCAs, recreation centers, Boys and Girls Clubs, and faith-based organizations to help families navigate the choices. If they weren't able to go to the showcase or they still have questions, people will be at these locations to help families navigate their choice opportunities and be ready for the spring when the application cycle starts. All right, and last, let's see, a couple more things. This week is National School Psychologist Week, and we are so blessed with an amazing psychologist team in our district. And next week, we're actually in our spotlight, we'll be highlighting one of our very own who's been recently awarded, so that'll come next week. So thank you to all of our school psychologists for the work you do for our students and our staff. And then last Saturday, I had the opportunity to be in a Veterans Day parade that went straight down 4th Street, and it was amazing. Many of our high school bands and JROTC students were there, and all of their teachers were there, and it was just a really special parade. And I wanted to take the opportunity to say thank you to all of our veterans. I know we have a lot of staff that have served in the military earlier in their lives, or maybe some are still serving in certain ways. And I just want to thank them because it's you know, they not only do they sacrifice for our freedoms, but their families do as well. You know, if anybody that has family that are in the military that get deployed, it's a big sacrifice, but they're doing it for us to be able to have our freedoms. And so thank you to all of our veterans for Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McManus. The next item on our agenda is discussion items, and we have one tonight, which is our district technology update by Kevin Sherrill.
Good evening, Chair Woodbury and board members and Ms. McManus. Don't know how I became the only discussion item on this short agenda, but I'll take it. It seems like it's been a minute since I've been up here to give you a technology update for our district, and it's been quite the challenging couple of years. But I want to just come to you tonight and just kind of talk about a few of the things that to highlight some of our work that we've done across the district. There's a lot more going on than what you'll see on these slides, but these are some of the things that are the big ticket items that affect instruction in our schools. Just as a reminder, what we did for remote learning, Canvas, Zoom, Teams, our sound enhancement, our camera systems in our classrooms, all those things are still available to our students and our teachers. Canvas has become a cornerstone for our learning with our learning management system and how we're driving instruction and lesson plans through that. We continue to use Microsoft Teams on a daily basis, not only from the business side of the house for productivity with our meetings, but and Zoom, and all those tools are still available to all of our teachers. Our one-to-one program, probably been the biggest initiative we've done in a very long time, maybe the biggest since I've been here in my 15 years, and we've rolled that out this fall. As a reminder, our grades 3 through 12 are carrying devices home, and we have just moved our grades K through 2 to a 1-to-1 ratio. I think when I talked to you about this a few months back, we were going to a 1-to-2. We were able to use some ESSER funds to move that to a 1-to-1 ratio, still in the buildings, in our carts, and our charging cabinets you see depicted there. So still not sending devices home with K2, but we do have a 1-to-1 ratio. Some of that's still being deployed. Those devices just came in a few weeks ago, and that's happening in our elementary grades. So very excited about that. We're evaluating that throughout this year. You know, we talked about a student fee and our breakage and our loss, so we're looking at all those stats as we go month by month and maintaining this program. Our staff laptop program, something that I'm very proud of as well. All of our staff ran a 4-year cycle for their devices. That also includes our support instructional staff, such as our teacher assistants, our guidance counselors, and those folks. We have devices on the way in, 3rd week of November. I ordered them back in June. You guys are very aware of all the manufacturing delays across our country, but we are expecting the devices we need to finish out our teacher assistants and some of the folks that did not receive a new staff laptop last year. So that'll be 7,500 devices that we put on a 4-year schedule that we're maintaining for all of our staff. Connectivity, we've done a lot over the years, but obviously with COVID, we rolled out a lot of hotspots and tried to support families that needed connectivity at home. We've continued that this year with a partnership with, T-Mobile. So we have 2,500 hotspots in our district for a 12-month subscription of unlimited data that are out in our schools, available to students that need those, and we're deploying those as those requests come in. So we have that available. We also have 500 from a partnership with AT&T that have unlimited data, so we have a total of 3,000 hotspots available, and we have not used all of those this year. We have that availability, so the demand has not been as high as it was during our COVID closure. We have also applied and were awarded a partnership with Verizon Connect for 12 of our schools, 4 of which are the Verizon schools that you're aware of that are carrying iPads and have connectivity built into those iPads. We've had additional 8 high schools awarded hotspots for Verizon for a 2-year program. They do have a capped data plan on those, but they are connectivity for those students, and you see those listed, those schools listed there, those 12 schools. We also have been working for the past 18 months on some outdoor wireless offerings. So we've got 21 schools that we've mounted outdoor access points on the corners of the buildings, trying to cover some of the common areas, cover some of the parking lots, and we've got 7 more schools underway now. The funding for that came from part of some school COVID support from the state, so we did as many as we could. We're hoping to continue that. The next slide shows you some that we've done. We looked initially, we took the funding that the state gave us and developed a plan for what would work in the schools, and we focused on our neighborhood schools to try to provide kind of a ring of coverage around that neighborhood or surrounding that school. I actually did some testing on my own. We rolled this out over at one of the schools, Kimberly Park, I believe, and I just drove down through some of the neighborhoods. I was streaming a video on my laptop in the car, and it was working a good distance away from the building, so we're able to provide some outdoor wireless for these campuses. So we're going to continue that, and hopefully we can make that available at all schools as we move forward. School infrastructure upgrades. When we talk about infrastructure, we're talking about the wireless connectivity in the schools. We're talking about the switching and the routing within the schools, all the datacom equipment that's in our closets that makes everything work. Back in 2015, we were awarded $8 million from E-Rate to upgrade all of our schools. And that was a 5-year plan. You could either file to do it all in year 1 or do it over 5 years. We went all in on year 1 because I've been around long enough to know that sometimes the funding doesn't really make it for 5 years, so I didn't really trust that, but it just about was all we could do to do that many schools in a year's time. So we did that in 2015, which got all of our schools to a certain level, and now the cycle's come around again. So we've started last year, with upgrading all the infrastructure in our schools again with higher bandwidth, faster Wi-Fi, and we completed 28 schools last year, working on 19 more this year. So we're on a 5-year schedule. We are going to spread it out a little bit over the next 4 to 5 years to finish this out. And you can see some of the schools that we completed last year. And we made a decision, I know Ms. Crowley, you asked me this question via email this week, that 2015 allocation was based on a dollar amount per student ADM, and we awarded that for every school. The schools that you see here that we started with last year, these schools still had a remaining balance from the 2015 money that we were going to lose in this 5th year if we didn't use it, because when we could only purchase what we needed back in that 2015 time, so we had some balances left over from the E-rate funds that we wanted to finish out and not lose. So that's why we started with the schools that had remaining balances, and these are the ones that we're working on this year. So a lot to do there. There's a lot. We're pulling new Cat 6 cabling to our access points for faster bandwidth. So there's a lot of manual labor going on in our schools to upgrade our networks. Our bond technology, I can't believe it, but it's been, this January will mark 5 years since we started this. We started January 2017, rolling out our classroom technology, which you see some depictions here of our Promethean interactive panels, our sound enhancement, some of the Padcaster video equipment, and some of the makerspace things I'm showing there. But we had planned to roll out all the classroom technology over a 6-year schedule, and I'm happy to say that we're on our last school as we speak. So we're able to do it in 5 years. So we're finishing up West High currently. The 4 that I have listed there that are planned and underway, those schools are part of construction bond dollars. So like North, Brent help me, North and Philo, and a few others that have construction projects coming. The funding for the classroom technology is built into those 4. So we'll be finishing those as those start. And as we began 5 years ago, pre-K was not really on the map. There was a federal law that students of a pre-K age can only have a certain number of minutes of screen time. And with COVID, as it came on, that law changed. So I'm going to take the opportunity with some bond savings on our technology and our technology bond budget to go back and put the interactive panels in the pre-K rooms as we finish up over this next year. We're going to continue the work, though, because the crews are going to be out there throughout this year and into next summer, taking down old smart boards, taking down old TVs, and getting the walls cleaned up. That was always the plan, is to go back at the end and take the old equipment out. So if you're visiting classrooms and you might see one of these new Promethean panels sitting in front of an old smart board, I don't like that either, but the goal was to get the new stuff in and go back and get the old stuff out at the end, and we'll be doing that throughout this year. As part of that technology bond, we've been touching our media centers with a refresh on flexible seating, new technology. There's some pictures of some of our schools. I don't know which ones they are without looking back in my notes, but it looks really nice, right? We're trying to just really make our media centers very inviting for our students and just a nice place for comfortable learning and just a casual space for reading and wherever it may be. We've completed 61 schools. We've got 15 more that we're doing this year. That's just a little short of our total school number. As you know, some of our schools don't have media centers, so that will finish us out this year. As we move into the late summer, we should finish all of our media centers on the refresh. That's been a challenge as well. This type of furniture has got a 4 to 5 month lead time, so when we do a design, get the media center, everybody gets fired up about it. We have all these approved designs, and then we place an order, then you wait 5 months. So it's been challenging to get it finished, but we're working very hard to do so. This is an exciting funding note that you may or may not know about, but as the federal government, the FCC, rolled out what they're calling ECF, so Emergency Connectivity Funds. There was a $7.1 billion program that was launched just this past year, about 6 months ago, for schools to apply for connected devices, so laptops, Chromebooks, or hotspots, those kinds of things, all qualified. It's kind of an E-rate program. It kind of goes along those lines of E-rate, but it's a different funding source. I applied. So I was like, you're able to award up to $400 per connected device. So my thought was, let's put it out there. We've got about 17,000 kids that are carrying a 4-year-old Chromebook. And it's part of our life cycle to roll that off, and we've got it scheduled in our ESSER funds for the next 3 years. Happy to say we were awarded $7.2 million on that first round, and so that was really good. So what that's going to allow us to do is to, going into next fall, is to go ahead and retire all those 17,000 devices. So I've ordered 17,000 Chromebooks to replace those, and this is also how we're funding our hotspots through T-Mobile, are funded through that as well. And then lo and behold, they only used $5 billion of the $7 billion across the country, so they opened up a second round. And with the second round, they're allowing us to file for things that we purchased last year and get reimbursed for it. So some of our staff laptops qualify for this, up to $400. Our staff laptops cost around $700, but we could get up to $400 of that money back, that Andre and I could work on putting that back into some other funds. So I've filed for that, another $3.4 million that we're up to hopefully be awarded, and they're supposed to let us know the first week of December on that. Those things are great, and what it will do for us financially is offset some of our ESSER funding that we've got. That'll just kind of shift some of that and free up some dollars for Andre and the team to put in other areas if we make amendments to those ESSER funds. So great news there. And I think my last slide, just some of the digital teaching and learning things that we're focusing on. Obviously, our continued support of technology integration into the instructional practice and the daily lessons with our teachers, our Canvas support, it's continual support on Canvas, our one-to-one program, continual support there. And we're tackling some coding and robotics opportunities this year, hoping to start some after-school clubs for robotics, start blending that in with maybe CTE, and try to just grow some of those STEM learning opportunities for our students as we move forward. And I think that was the last slide, and I'll say this, that I wanted to publicly thank you guys for your continual support for technology and what we do here in this district. You've always been very supportive of everything. I stand up here and ask for millions of dollars and all those kinds of things, and I thank you for that. And I want to thank my staff. We got 67 people on the technology staff, and there's these folks that are behind the scenes that you probably may never see, that have really been working hard over the last 18 months to 2 years. They work hard all the time, but these past 2 years have been very challenging, and they've put in a lot of hours, and I really thank them for all that they do. So questions?
Just a comment that I can't believe how lucky we are to have you in our district, and particularly when other districts were not prepared for the shutdowns of COVID and the incredible work that had already been done behind the scenes. And your commitment to serving the needs of children, as well as your whole team, because you're correct, it takes a team. But we are so grateful to have you, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Kevin, the question I have is, are we, I guess, integrating basic technology skills into the curriculum so that our students are progressing in the 21st century mindset instead of just, I have a Chromebook, but at best I know how to get in trouble with it instead of.
Yeah, great point. Great point. One of the things I should have put on this last slide is, the ISTE standards. ISTE is kind of the standard for integrating technology, and there are ISTE standards for students. And we're taking all those ISTE standards this year and working, Marty Creech and I are working with Nicolette and her staff on how we're going to integrate those into the core curriculum area. So that's one of our main focus areas are those technology standards that students should know, and how are those integrated into the learning practice. So absolutely.
And I think that, lastly, my suggestion would be the superintendent consider some teachers that's interested in really taking it to the next level and have them go to the ISTE conference, which is a national conference, so that they become much more comfortable with integrating technology into the curriculum and can share that with other teachers.
Great. I'll say this, that maybe one of the silver linings of what our teachers have been through, and I think I maybe said this to you guys, not publicly, but our skill sets of our teachers around technology have really come up through the things that they've had to do. They were just, their hand was forced on learning video conferencing and shared drives and all the things that you do, cloud computing, all the things that were kind of cumbersome for a lot of teachers. They really stepped up, and those skill sets are with them now as they're back in the classroom, and I think we can grow upon that and grow our teacher skill sets as technology changes. So I'm very, very excited and encouraged by that.
I just have one question about, you'd mentioned putting technology in pre-K classrooms. Is that recommended by educators?
Well, I'll put it this way. Our pre-K department has put a lot of pressure on me to put that in there, and the only thing I'm putting in is the interactive panel. So we could probably have some more discussion about that. I'm not the expert on whether that's appropriate or not appropriate for that age group. I just know that I'd love to see all of our classrooms have that standard set. Sometimes our pre-K rooms become kindergarten rooms the next year and things like that, because some of that movement happens. But great point. Up until COVID, there was some federal laws around screen time for 4-year-olds. I've got a 6-year-old, but he was 4 2 years ago. But he broke those laws every day, I'm sure, with his iPad. But great point. I don't know the full answer, Leah. But.
Yeah, I don't see, Board Member Crowley, I go into a lot of pre-K classrooms, and I see the kids doing a lot of hands-on. I'm not seeing them in computers, but the panels is for the teacher to be able to do, so I think the panels are spot on, but I don't see them like I do other grade levels.
Yeah, device-wise, there's not a lot of devices in our pre-K.
No, or even on a standalone, nothing. They're really hands-on, manipulatives, doing the things you would expect to see in a pre-K classroom.
Okay, thank you.
And on the business side, I'll speak for Andrea just a little bit. I think she was just here. We kicked off the Tyler ERP Business Modernization Project this past week. So upgrading our financial systems and our HRMS and all those things that we've been talking about for 4 years trying to get started, we are getting ready to kick into high gear over the next 18 months. And we're really excited about what that's going to do for our business life day to day around the district. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is action items. We have a few action items tonight. First, is there a motion to consider approval of the ISA agreement for Carver High School?
Where are the funds coming from? I wasn't real.
It's a grant that they have.
So it's still the grant?
Yes.
It is still the SIG grant? Okay, I
Yeah.
wasn't sure. I thought it was still, I want to make sure it was still the grant, so. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's doing the second?
Second.
Any further question or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries to approve the ISA agreement for Carver High School. The next item is to consider approval of contract with Magnet Schools of America.
Move approval.
Second.
Any further question or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries to approve the contract with Magnet Schools of America. The next item is to consider approval of Sunvet contract addendum. Motion to approve.
Second.
Any further question or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries to approve the Sunbelt contract addendum. The next item is to consider approval of the contract with Communication Services for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, Inc.
So moved.
Second. Any further question or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries to approve the contract with the Communication Services for Deaf and Hard of Hearing. The next item is to consider approval of the contract with Maxim Healthcare Services Holdings. Motion to approve.
Second.
Any further question or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries to approve the contract with Maxim Healthcare Services Holdings. The next item is to consider approval of contract with Stepping Stones Group for Speech Language Pathology Assistant.
Move approval.
Second.
Any further question or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries to approve the contract with Stepping Stones Group for Speech Language Pathology Assistant. The last action item is to consider approval of contracts with AMN Healthcare for Speech and Language Pathologists. Motion to approve.
Second.
Any further question or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries to approve the contract with AMN Healthcare for Speech and Language Pathologists. Next on our agenda are the announcements. We have one announcement. November is National Native American Heritage Month. We ask that families definitely support this month by being very interactive with our students to learn more about Native American contributions to our country as the original Americans. The next item is, or announcement is on Thursday, November the 11th. Of course, Veterans Day, the district will be closed. We want to thank all of our veterans. If there are any veterans in here, if you would please stand so we can recognize you. But we want to make sure the community know that we are very appreciative of all of our veterans and we recognize their service to our community and our country. The next item is, or announcement is on Friday, November the 12th, is of course our Day of Kindness, Community, and Connection. I'm very excited about this day as something that's homegrown, and I think the community will definitely get something out of this, and I think you will see our children probably be the biggest promoters of it, telling us as adults to be kind and considerate during this day, because once they know about something, they will definitely make sure that we practice it. So I appreciate that day for November the 12th. Next, on Tuesday, November the 16th at 4:30, our curriculum committee meeting will be held. Then on Tuesday, November the 16th at 5, our finance committee meeting will be held. And on Tuesday, November the 16th at 5:30 p.m., the next meeting, of course, of the board. And I do want to reiterate again that this week was National School Psychology Week. The theme is Let's Get in Gear, and I want to thank Dr. Corliss Thompson-Drew for her service to our district and leadership in the psychology department. The next item on our agenda is open to the public for comments. Please know that
Thank you for joining us on Your School Channel, Cable 2.